Hey there, Phil here. Welcome to Unlocking Harmonic Language Week 3. Last week we talked all about movements, moving from one triad to the next. Today we're going to play with some sound chemistry. We're going to mix the sound of major with the sound of diminished. First, just a little bit of theory. So people use this term called tritone. Let's explain what that is. So we have a C to D. That's a whole step. A tone is another way to say a whole step. Whole step, whole step, and then another whole step gets us to F sharp. For instance, C to D to E, E to F sharp. You can call it G flat. This is a very tense sound. And if you remember doing your triad table, the C diminished has this sound in it. When we hear a diminished triad, our initial instinct is like, I don't like how it sounds, right? So I tell my students, throw an A flat underneath that. Well, sounds a little cool, right? If I go like this. Looks like I'm playing the blues. That's at the core of things. So we're going to take the major chord and mix it with the diminished chord. Okay, so today we're going to take the triad table and I've filled out every single cell. If you haven't done that yet, that's okay. What we're going to do is take the sound of C major here and combine it with the sound of E diminished. So we would actually throw the diminished chord on top of the C chord. Think we have a common tone here. We have E, of course. We have G. Now we're just going to throw that B flat on top of it. This turns the C major chord into the C dominant 7th chord. Play those 4 notes together. There's a C dominant 7. Let's do the same thing with F major. We're going to play F major here. And then we're going to play A diminished. Put them all together. You wind up with an F7 chord. Major plus diminished. Okay, everybody, so we have a C chord. We have an E diminished chord. We have this. We wind up with this. We call this a C7 chord. It's also called a C dominant 7 chord. Let's take the F major, the A diminished, put them together. We have an F7 chord or an F dominant 7 chord. Okay, so what's the big deal about this chord? Well, it's kind of special. In the collection of chords you can get from a given key, you're only going to wind up with one dominant 7th chord. These chords are always major third plus minor third plus minor third. Okay, I'm going to do all the chords in F. I have an F major 7, a G minor 7, an A minor 7, a B flat major 7. Here's my C dominant 7 chord. It's always built on the 5th note. A D minor 7, and an E minor 7 flat 5. So I only have one dominant 7th chord, and that dominant 7th chord really wants to go back to its tonic. So C7 wants to go to F. That's the nature of the tritone. The tritone is a slingshot. So we have all this tension built up with E and B flat. Now, I can pull those notes 1/2 step towards each other. I wind up with F and A, which is the root and the third of an F major chord. If I invert that, B flat and E, I pull them away from each other. I wind up on the A and the F. So tritones either want to move inward or outward. Let's try that with the F7 chord. So we have A and E flat. Move them towards each other. We have B flat and D. Let's invert them. Pull them away from each other. Same result. So what's the point? This strong attraction can make movement 1 even stronger. When running dominant 7th chords, there are 4 notes. That means we can have a root position, first inversion, second inversion, and a third inversion. Check it out. First inversion, second inversion, third inversion. Now with an F7, first inversion, second inversion, third inversion. Movement 1A is basically C7 to F. With 4 notes, it can get a little complicated on the dominant chords, but it's basically what we did last week with movement 1. Then we go. It's good to practice. Now here's the cool thing. These chords, dominant 7 chords, can also work going to minor chords. So the C7 can go either to F major or F minor. That means we can utilize them in movement 3. Super dramatic, huh? All right, we did B flat major last week, so an F7 really wants to go to B flat major. All dominant 7th chords want to resolve up a 4th. Let's try F7 to B flat using movement 1. We call it movement 1A, AA. I know it's a lot of A's. Those are new. Of course, if it works in F, it'll work in B flat. So an F7 also has a strong attraction toward B flat minor. Very cool. Finally. Awesome sounds. I'm always doing these melodically. There's nothing wrong with doing these as block chords. Right? So that's all for this week. We're going to now do movement 1 with a dominant chord, so C7 to F major, and movement 3 with a dominant chord to minor, C7 to F minor. Of course, we have F7 to B flat major and F7 to B flat minor. See if you can come up with some cool sounds, and I'll catch you next week. Take care.